Yeah, WWE. Right, hold on. Hi, and welcome to the Contenders Corner Podcast, where we talk everything that is wrestling. I am your host, Jason, and join me and other guests as we dissect this pay-per-view. We are an unbiased show here, and we'll go into this episode with an open mind, whether it's good or whether it's bad. We aren't afraid to hit home, so honest fun of sports here. If you're new to this, then please like, share, and subscribe, and comment in the comment section below, and share with us your opinions of what went down on the premium event. Stay with us as we have a lot to discuss here on YouTube. Are you ready? This is HardTalk Episode 2 Elimination Chamber pay-per-view recap. Guys, where we picked off last time, the Royal Rumble, we said at the end that the Royal Rumble was a bit confusing because obviously Brock Lesnar dropped the title to Bobby Lashley. He went in an hour later, won the Royal Rumble. Looking at this, Bobby Lashley lost the match. Well, he picked up an injury. It's getting confusing now. What are your thoughts on this?
Was it needed? Really?
I don't know, because Bobby Lashley won at the Royal Rumble. Brock Lesnar won the Royal Rumble.
Indeed.
It was entered into the Elimination Chamber. Bobby Lashley picked up an injury. Brock Lesnar is the champion. Was that really needed then? Was the whole Royal Rumble scenario really needed? I
think it was wrong to put Lesnar into the match at day one. That's what I think. The person that's really been screwed over here by everything is Big E, in my opinion.
So, should Big E have stayed? Well, should have Big E remained the champion all the way through to Royal Rumble, then lost to Brock Lesnar at Elimination Chamber? Would that have been a lot better?
Possibly, yeah. I think so. I mean, they should have just had Lesnar win the Rumble and then go into Chamber and win the belt that way. I mean, there's no need. If they are really serious about making this a title versus title scenario, which it looks like they are, then that's the way it should have gone. I don't really agree with.
Because then this is the same scenario what happened with Kofi Kingston. Lost to Brock Lesnar in near enough like seconds, but Big E drops the title to, Brock Lesnar, because obviously Brock Lesnar's returning. Oh man, it's just like, I just don't get the concept of the old booking here. I think it's just been a bit stale.
It's confusing.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I think they're trying to fit too much into the scenario. Well, we know Lesnar's won the Rumble, and there's the build-up story number one. Yeah, win the title. There's build-up story number two. And with all the Reigns scenario going on at the moment, yeah, part of it makes sense, but I think a lot of it wasn't needed.
We'll talk about this a bit more in detail when Matt's here, after he's munched on his hot dogs here. Well, anyway, first match, how was it for you? The Miz versus Rey Mysterio.
Well, I haven't seen the event as a whole, but I think the result for me was the correct one. I think Mysterio, on his last run as a professional wrestler, and getting a bit stronger than Miz, I think personally for me it makes sense. Obviously Miz coming off of a big storyline with Edge, and there's also a few clues about they're still continuing with the rivalry, the Miz versus Mysterios, with Miz's tag partner being Dashing. I don't know if you've seen that sort of headline about his tag partner being Dashing. Well, I think the result was the correct result, in my opinion.
The correct result, but would you say that's a bit confusing as well? Because obviously the Miz has just come out of a storyline with Edge and Beth Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, he was on the losing end of the rivalry. So I suppose having him win straight away might not be the right way. Sort of build up to something, but I mean, I know they are playing a big storyline with the Mysterios in the near future. So I think
is putting him back in the front line with is putting him back in the picture with a storyline with the Mysterios the right direction.
I don't think it's a wrong direction. I mean, Ray is still a big name in wrestling circles, just like Edge is. And I think having Miz feud with a big established name like Rey Mysterio might actually benefit his career more than going after one of the new people like, say, Gable Steve or something like that. So I think he's still, I mean, Miz and Mysterio is two names been around this business for donkey's years. So, yeah, I mean, the see it before, they can still work it again. They're both capable of putting on great storylines. So, yeah, I'm all for it.
Could we see in the near future Rey Mysterio having a run for the title again? Back in the main event picture? Could we see that?
I think it's highly possible. I mean, he's still, despite his advancing years, he's still showing up every week. He's still putting on great matches most of the time. Him and AJ Styles is a great match on Raw and a qualifier for the Elimination Chamber. So, yeah, Ray is still capable of putting on great results. He still has a great fan support out there. People wear his masks in the audience every time. He's still a very loved professional wrestler who I think fans would love to see in the title picture. So yeah, I definitely think there might be at least one more title run there.
Other YouTubers have stated that the preview match, it was the wrong place for Rey Mysterio and the Miz to have been on. Would you agree with that? Was the pre-show the wrong place for them to be on?
I'm 50-50 now. Considering the matches they had, it was either going to be that or probably SmackDown tag title match was going to be on the pre-show. And seeing how that went, they might as well have put that on the pre-show, to be fair. seeing how that really ended. But yeah, I can see both sides of the coin. I mean, yeah, it should be on the main show because Mysterio and Miz are big names who have been performing in the company many years. But then I think Vince only had a few days build up. It was probably the least built match on the entire card. So that's probably why he placed it in that position.
Matt, what are your thoughts on the pre-show?
On the pre-show, yeah, I think it's probably the right call to put them on the pre-show. Really, it was like I say, it was either that. It's like probably maybe two others you could have put on. Really, but
who would you have put on in replace for them two?
In place of them two, well, I'm not sure really. Like I say, probably the SmackDown Tag Championships, which obviously we'll probably discuss about that later on. But
well, that's what I'm going into. This is why I've asked the question: was it the right call for the Miz and Rey Mysterio to be on the pre-show, knowing what happened on that tag match? Give me your honest thoughts of it.
Knowing what happened on the tag match,
yeah,
I would have put the SmackDown Tag Championship
on the pre-show. Yeah,
yeah.
I see what you mean. What about you, Scott?
Considering the how it ended, it probably would have made more sense. because Mysterio and Miz is probably like at least a good few minutes in that match. He had the chance to sort of flow and show its own narrative. Whereas SmackDown tag titles, well, they could have just done more talking on the pre-show and put that there and come out, get their payday, and then go home again. I mean, considering how it ended, I mean, what was the point in putting it on the main show just before, like, a main event or something? I mean, if that's happened, I mean, did one of the other matches overrun? Is that why he done it? Because there was no time? I mean, there's a lot of things to sort of think about.
Yeah,
we really won't even know. Yeah.
The opening match, Roman Reigns versus Goldberg.
Yeah.
Scott?
Expected result, and the correct result, obviously, because of the storyline that's being built around it regarding Brock Lesnar.
Go on.
Right, because we knew, obviously, Vince planned this back in 2020 before the coronavirus took effect on the world. So we knew this match was bound to happen at some point. And with Reigns beating the bigger legends, guys like John Cena, Edge, Bryan Danielson, and the like. So it made sense for him to go over another legend in Goldberg to set him up for this. So personally, it made sense. It was the correct result, and completely expected and correct result.
As we said last week on the Keith Lee show, the WWE fouled Keith Lee, I asked a question: would Goldberg pick up the win against Roman? What if those events had played out? What are your thoughts? Would have been, Matt?
If Goldberg won,
it looked like he was gonna get the win, but what if he had picked up that win?
I'd love to know what the reason behind that decision would be. Because obviously Brock had chosen Roman Reigns as his challenger for WrestleMania. So would they play the old switcheroo and move Reigns over to Raw in fight for that championship, and have some up and coming star face Goldberg at Mania and Goldberg puts him over? It's a possibility. But then you think, well, who on the SmackDown side now, apart from Big E that's now gone over to there, who else would actually challenge Goldberg for the championship?
Drew McIntyre?
Yeah, what about your thoughts on that, Scott? If Goldberg had won on that night?
I mean, what Matt said probably would have made a lot of sense if that was the direction they're going to go. But with me, I think Vince has put a lot of time and effort into making Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar happen. But Goldberg's come in and put a massive spanner in the works, for me, would just confuse me even more.
Yeah,
I mean, Goldberg is on a numbered performance basis. I think that was his last performance, or definitely his contract, That was his last appearance, definitely his contract. So for them to then win the title means, well, they give him another contract. And do we really need to see a lot more Goldberg matches? I mean, occasional ones, because he's still a big draw. But I think it would have put a massive spanner in the works regarding Reigns and Lesnar main event in WrestleMania. But even though people have their feelings on Reigns and Goldberg, I'm happy the result went the way it did, because we know what we're going to get now.
As we always do on this channel, we don't rate the pre-show, but what would your rating be for the opening match, Roman Reigns and Goldberg?
I think I've heard about how it finished with Reigns choking him out and not letting go of the ropes.
Yeah.
Let Goldberg had the ropes and wouldn't let go. So it builds up the idea of Reigns being a heel even more, which I actually approve of, because it proves that kayfabe is still alive and well in some places, like despite what people say. So yeah, I'm pleased the result went the way it did. I'm pleased Reigns won, and how he won is still a good thing. So I've not seen the match itself, but I'll probably say roughly about a 3 out of 5. I mean, great result, good way of ending the match, and now we've got the build. We've got 2 months of build now for the inevitable match at WrestleMania.
What about you, Matt? How would you rate this match?
Well, I actually watched the match, and then I actually gave a rating straight after, and just looking at it, obviously it's like, expected results and expected Goldberg just go off to the blocks first. It was just way too predictable. Thought what they should have spiced things up a bit, but no, it's just typical Goldberg out the blocks. Roman gets the counter back, and then it's just to take the mick out of the Rock as well with the Rock bottom. That's just a slap in the face, just disrespecting the legends, as probably a typical heel would do. But I gave it a 2.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I think that's how we would have done it. I think it was the right decision. I think, like Scott had said, at least the kayfabe is in the right places, especially with what happened at the end. Reigns not letting go of the rope and Goldberg, not tapping out, but the referee just called the match over. It was short. It was a fun match. Goldberg had, I thought Goldberg was winning at one point. He controlled the whole match. There was places where Roman Reigns looked weak. But again, fun match. I think it was a 2.5 out of 5. But would you all say it was right for it to open the pay-per-view?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I believe in the old adage of start well, end well. So you should always start off every show with a match that's going to get the fans hot. That is a given. So I can see the benefits behind putting that match on first. Absolutely.
Get the viewers hooked in.
Yeah, that's what you should always do. Start hot, end hot. And then you've got everything else in between you can work out amongst yourself, really.
Yeah.
I'm going to put maybe a shock opener in there. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but I would have started the pay-per-view off with the WWE Championship Chamber.
Ooh.
Okay, so what would you have put as the main event?
The main event, I would have possibly put the women's.
Interesting.
It was a good match. The women's one was really good.
It would also have highlighted women's wrestling, especially in a country that's obviously a little bit further. They have their own laws out there, so to end on a women's show would have been a massive high.
It would have been, especially for the women, especially in that country as well.
It's the most women's matchup they've had in that country as well. Last year they only had the 2 women, and this year they've had 6 women over there. Well, 8, because obviously you had Lita and Becky as well.
The next match.
Yeah, but don't forget the women's tag match.
Yeah. Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Talking about the women's elimination chamber, what are your thoughts on that one?
Well, the reports I've heard about it are very positive. There's a lot of talk about it being a great match. My prediction was Alexa.
Yeah, mine was at one point.
I'm disappointed that it didn't happen, but I can see why Bianca won. Because there's that narrative from SummerSlam that needs to be finished in a way.
Matt, what are your thoughts on the women's chamber?
Yeah, I totally agree with what Scott said there.
Yeah.
That obviously the reason why you want to continue the storyline of Bianca Belair in the 28 seconds of comeback of Becky Lynch, and Bliss did put up a really, really good fight.
Yes.
And just how she entered the chamber, walking around the pods, playing mind games, it was like the old Alexa Bliss was back, better than ever. And she even said on her Instagram the day after, it's like she even thanks the women that was in the match and praised them and says, listen, that's probably one of my best ever matches I've done. So it says a lot. She's obviously now happy with her booking, and obviously I think there's going to, at Mania, there's going to be more to come from Alexa Bliss.
Were the picks right for that match, Scott?
I think Rhea Ripley, Nikki ASH, or Nikki ASH, and Doudrop, even though I don't really call that name, but that's the name she's under, probably most unlikely to win. I know Becky has spoken in the public eye about she wouldn't mind losing the belt to Liv Morgan at some point, so that gave the possibility that she would win. And with Alexa on fire right now, especially with the way she's been portrayed on screen with the 50-50 sort of like therapy sessions that she's had, and I thought Alexa would have been the popular choice to win that match. I suppose Bianca would have been one of the favourites looking at it, because she's had the year of her life. She's won the Royal Rumble, which won the title at WrestleMania. So was it right? I don't know. I personally have given it to Alexa, because we haven't had Becky versus Alexa in quite a while. Whereas we have had Becky versus Bianca, we have had Becky versus Liv. So I would have given the match to Alexa personally. But that's just me.
I agree with you. I really thought she was the last. It was Bianca and Alexa, and I thought Alexa could do this. Alexa could do it, and then within a swerve, Bianca hit that finisher, and then bang. I really thought how that match played out. You had Bianca, Rhea Ripley, Alexa on the last three. I really thought, right, the big top three here. Having them three was right, for the last moment. And then it was just Bianca and Alexa. I thought, Alexa could do it. But it didn't. Matt, did you think Alexa would have done it on that night?
What you're saying about the picks and probably the people that are in it, I probably would have took out 2 members of the 6.
Right. And who would you have put in?
I would have took out Nikki ASH and Ripley. I would have had them 2 go one-on-one.
Yeah.
to continue their rivalry, I would have put in a returning Bayley into the match.
Ooh.
And that one other I would probably put in. It's a bit tricky, really. There's not many options. But I would have probably put in. Yeah, instead of her actually facing Becky Lynch, I would have put in Lita. I probably would, yeah.
Well, Bayley was my original prediction through the mystery person was going to be. But then they announced it as Alexa, so that put that one away. But yeah, I actually thought Bayley was going to be the mystery person.
Could Bayley be dropped at WrestleMania?
Oh, well, I think it's in a time frame.
I
think she injured her knee in June, I think it was, and they said it was 9 months, which would be March. Now, WrestleMania is early April.
Yeah.
So it's within the time frame.
The next match. Which one was that one, Matt?
The one after the women's chain.
Was it Drew and Madcap Moss?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that one, Scott?
Well, when I first saw the match card and I saw McIntyre versus Moss on there, I thought, what, again? Because they did that match at day one, and McIntyre won. So, yeah, happy that McIntyre won the match. For being a Falls Count anywhere. I think I heard a rumour that Moss got injured. Yeah. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Expected win, McIntyre, which was they could have actually built the story more by having Moss win to build up to the inevitable match between McIntyre and Corbin. But you know, Full Count Anywhere matches, they're always exciting to watch, even though they might go through the crowd, they might go into the backstage area, and that's what all us fans love to see. But yeah, expected win. Really.
Are we going to see a continuation with this storyline?
I expect McIntyre to face Corbin.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah.
Whether that will be WrestleMania or not, I don't know.
Strong possibility, unless it gets turned into a tag match.
Possibly.
Oh yeah, who would team with Drew? That's the big question.
Well, there was rumours while the show was happening, obviously like people are theorising, that obviously like 10 years ago, he tagged up with Cody Rhodes. So people were trying to put 2 and 2 together because the match basically turned into a handicap match. It was basically Drew McIntyre against Corbin and Moss, and everyone was like, come on now, it's like, it's getting way too much. It's you might as well just call it a 2-on-1 Falls Count Anywhere match. Who's going to help Drew? Because the first half of the match, it was just them two just kept attacking, and like people on Twitter and Facebook were like, "Yeah, this is where Cody's going to come back." But in the end, Drew didn't get any help. He just got his sword out, tried to swing for Corbin's head. That was the distraction, and then Claymore 1, 2, 3. So yeah, like Scott said, it looks like it's going to be a build up for McIntyre and Corbin at WrestleMania.
What about Ronda and Naomi versus
Charlotte and
Charlotte and Sonya?
Predictable.
What would you rate that match, Scott?
Well, I'm not saying, but I know kind of what's happened. Charlotte walks away and left Sonya to the wolves, basically.
But it's a bit confusing because, Charlotte walked away. I thought, all right, Sonya's gonna have an argument with her after, but they both left the building together. So it's a bit like, what really happened, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, the result was expected. It was a bit predictable that Rousey and Naomi would go over, and that Charlotte wouldn't be the one to take the fall. So, Sonya was always going to be the one to tap out or get in, so predictable, and we know we're getting Rousey versus Charlotte at WrestleMania, so we've just got to wait to see what more build up there is to it.
What would you rate that match?
Well, I think with it being predictable and possibly a little bit of a lousy finish, maybe a 2 out of 5, maybe.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Probably behind this, but it's a little bit of a. It's not exactly a grandstand finish, is it? It's a bit
Would we all
far away?
Would we all say the women's elimination chamber was a 4?
I'd probably give it a 4. Yeah.
Yeah, I would give it a 4.
Yeah, it's been talked about very highly, so I think that's fair.
Yeah. The next match, Becky Lynch versus Lita. The story of it. Go on, Scott.
Well, lucky enough, I was online when this match was going ahead, so I was reading sort of messenger forums about how this was going. I heard that Becky was sort of carrying the match for Lita being tired. Whether how true, I don't know. But again, expected result. It was good to see Lita back in wrestling. It's good to see Lita back wrestling again. But the result was expected. So I haven't really got a lot to say rather than Becky's still being boosted as the Raw Women's Champion. She hasn't lost it for technically 3 years. So expected result.
What about you, Matt? What did you think of Lita's performance?
I've heard mixed reviews really. Saying, "Oh, why has she come back? She's washed up, this, that, and the other." And then some are saying, "Oh, she's come back. She was unlucky. She should have won."
Where is your mind on it? Was she washed up or was she unlucky?
I'm in the middle. I don't think she's washed up. I just think basically it was a bit of ring rust because obviously she hadn't been in the ring since whatever last time.
16 years.
Might have been the Royal Rumble.
16 years, yeah.
Well, obviously she's returned to the Rumble, but like a proper match, probably like a couple of years ago. I think it was
it was Revolution. I think she teamed with Trish.
Yeah.
In the tag match.
I think it was. Yeah. So obviously she's bound to have ring rust, but I thought she gave it a good go. And At one point, when she did the twist of face,
and then the flip, and the somersault off the top rope,
I thought, hold on, it's like WrestleMania's going to have a bit of a big change in the women's division here.
I thought Lita would have won that match. She carried it well. I thought she had a little bit of rust in the work, but that's obviously because she ain't really been consistent in coming. She's had a long period away from WWE, so it was expected that there were going to be a little bit of rust. But to be honest, to say that Lita was washed up, I thought, no, that's too harsh for that kind of a match. She gave it her all. At one point, you would have thought, come on, she's going to get this victory here. And she was very, very unlucky indeed. I agree with you, Matt. She had a little bit of ring rust. You could see it throughout most of the match. And again, like what Scott said, Becky Lynch was carrying the whole match to not like for the viewer to like tell that Lita was really like, you know, rusty. But you could see in places. You could see where she was rusty in places. But throughout the whole match, Becky was carrying it over. And again, she was unlucky. But it was great for her to be back, I think.
I agree.
What would you rate this match?
I'll probably better go in the middle, maybe 3 out of 5. Probably in the middle somewhere.
What about you, Matt?
Probably 2.75.
2.75. I'm gonna be just under 3, I think, for that one. I'm gonna give it a 2.8. The next match. Oh yeah, the Usos versus the Viking Raiders. What happened here, guys?
Well, they proved they turned up. That's about it.
2 minutes and they're done. Get the money and go home.
Yeah, they copped their card in at the front.
Guys,
basically, just do a lap about it and go home.
I'm not even gonna rate this one. I think I'm not even gonna rate it. Your honest thoughts, Scott?
Well, it was just over so fast. I mean, what was the point? I mean, was it because the show was overrunning? That's something I've seen. Was it because the show was actually overrunning? They had to basically just do something with it. But which I'm now fully expecting this match to take place on SmackDown now on Friday night.
Yeah.
It's bound to happen. Either this SmackDown or SmackDown afterwards, we're going to get the rematch.
Now brings the question: should have the Miz and Rey Mysterio had fought their match in this spot?
Well, considering how it ended, I suppose it could have been. They couldn't have. They wouldn't have done any worse than that.
Yeah.
So why not?
What are your brutal, honest thoughts on this, Matt? Should it have been booked if it was going to go down like this?
Right. If that was the case of how you were going to book it, just stick it on the pre-show when no one's bothered.
I agree with that one.
Yeah, me too.
Because if you're going to put the Mysterio match, before the main event, the crowd would be absolutely electric.
And that was actually a good match as well on the pre-show.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. See, I'm a bit confused really because you had a really good match to start off. You know, the whole premium event. You had a good match with the Miz and Rey Mysterio. It was electric. Dominic came out near the end. It was fire. You know, you got the event kicking off, buzzing. You know what I mean? You just watched a free match. You're buzzing for it. You're like, what a match that was. And then near enough the end, near towards the end, just before the main event, that happens.
Wow.
Crazy booking. I think I think we need to go to the main event. Main event, guys. What do you think on that?
Well, again, the stories that I've heard of, there was a joke going around. According to PW Insider, Brock Lesnar wasn't supposed to break out of the pod. He just got fed up of standing there.
I thought that was funny though. I really did, because the ref just looked at him like, "What the fuck is happening?"
I don't blame him, to be honest.
I agree. I didn't blame him. But the confusion,
so Lashley,
the confusion at the beginning,
which was down to his injury at Royal Rumble.
So should have Bobby had been entered for this match if he was already injured?
No, absolutely not.
No.
So why put the title on Bobby if he was already injured? I don't get it.
They might as well put, if Kevin Owens had a greater relationship work in Saudi Arabia, I reckon Owens would have been in that match instead of him.
Would there have been
either a number one contenders match or the vacant title?
Should have Big E have won at Royal Rumble and Brock Lesnar entered into the Elimination Chamber here? Would that have been a lot better?
Ooh. I don't think they should have put the title on Brock Lesnar in the first place at day one. Obviously, with Reigns testing positive for COVID, it was unfortunate. But I don't think there was any real need to put Brock into that match. Because according to rumours, it was supposed to be Seth Rollins as winning that match.
Yeah, right.
So then, why not put the belt on Seth Rollins in the chamber instead? Seth Rollins is another guy that should be in this conversation as well.
Should have Riddle won the Royal Rumble?
Well, again, I've heard contrasting news reports. I think because I actually do read Wrestle Talk magazine, which is actually I'm up with a couple of different stories. So, according to Fightful, they said that Lesnar was actually locked in to win that match 2 weeks before the show happened. But then some report, PW Insider stated Riddle was supposed to win it, and then you got Fightful stating that Lesnar was supposed to win it. So, who do you believe? You've got two different wrestling media outlets basically saying completely different results. So, who do you truly believe?
Has something happened in the past two pay-per-views, story-wise, that has, it's messed up, it's got too sloppy, and WWE are trying to, fix it?
A little bit. It is a bit.
Because there was a rumour Shane McMahon messed up the old Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I think he took over the sort of, because Vince wasn't on site, is what I'm hearing, and he took over sort of the planning. Because everything should be meticulously planned. Basically, who's coming out at what number, who's eliminating who, how long do I be in there before I get eliminated myself. There's a lot of things we take over, and Shane basically switched that around, even put himself into it. So, yeah, so I don't think that WWE were happy that Shane took over the running of the Royal Rumble match.
What are your thoughts on it, Matt?
Story of mine. I'd like to know what's going on with Austin Theory. That's fair enough. he was in the final two back in Brock. But if Vince given him all the ideas and whatnot, then why didn't he on Raw have him in the office and go, yeah, you put on a good fight, say Austin. I give you that. You were fighting against the beast. You know what? You prove me wrong. I'll reward you. Say, I don't know, the US title shot, for example. Obviously not the big one yet, because that is their idea down the line. You see Austin Theory as a future WWE champion. But in my opinion, not yet.
Did it all go to plan, Scott?
Yeah, if you want to build him up in, like, you know, you should let me, I'm the boss, I'll get you fought. Then I would have gone to Vince and said, listen, I put up a good fight. I didn't win the big one, but can you put me in a shot against Damian Priest and go from there?
Did it all go to plan, would you say, Scott? The whole Elimination Chamber main event?
Well, I think it was either going to be one or two people re-win this match. It was either going to be Lashley or it was going to be Lesnar. Lashley, because he had just won the title, and he don't really want to turn it into a pass-the-parcel sort of game. Or it was going to be Lesnar because of the storyline of Reigns. So it's all about the grand plan. Yeah, it probably did go to plan, because we are getting Reigns versus Lesnar, we are getting champion versus champion, and from what I'm hearing, it might be unifying two titles into one.
Could we see the Undisputed Championship back?
Potentially, yes. There is potential behind it.
I would love... Go on.
Why make it a champion versus champion match? In my opinion, there's no need for a champion versus champion match, but that's what we're getting.
If they're going to bring that title back, I don't want the W on it. No way, man. I want it redesigned, but they need to get over with this big W crap.
Well, yeah, I suppose that's up to debate, really. That's up to personal preference.
Would you like to see the Undisputed title back, Matt?
I'd just bring back the old title back.
Yeah.
Just, you want to change it.
Yeah, big gold. Everyone loves big gold.
Big gold, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can either bring that back or you bring back the World Heavyweight.
How would we all rate the main event?
I'll probably say another around the 3 mark. I mean, Lashley being injured is a bit of a disappointment. The one other thing I really can't wait to see when I see this is Austin Theory hiding on top of the chamber pod to get away from Brock. That's the kind of thing I cannot wait to see. Is Theory trying to escape Brock Lesnar at the top of the chamber pod.
It was hilarious.
Just for a laugh.
I'm gonna put it at 3.5 for the obvious reason. I was hoping for a big brawl between Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar near towards the end. That didn't play out, and in my mind, it just, like you said, Scott, past the parcel situation.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're kind of getting Brock and Roman championship versus championship, but I was hoping for a big brawl at the end between Bobby and Brock in that chamber. All we had was Austin Theory and Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar tarnished the old, just literally destroyed everybody in that match. I was hoping for at least a roadblock into that match which would have been Bobby Lashley, but we didn't see that.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
How would you rate it, Matt?
I'd probably rate it about 0.5, just for what Brock did again.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Right, that is the end of Hard Talk, and we will catch you again next week when we discuss should Steve Austin, Stone Cold 316, should he return to wrestling? Again, guys, thank you for coming onto the air. It's always good for you to come here on the Contenders Corner podcast, and we thank everybody that has taken part in this show. Again, I thank Scott and Matt from the FCW crowd, and please go over to FCW on Facebook and watch FCW Forbidden Championship Wrestling over on Facebook. Thank you guys for appearing on this show.